What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Dreamin', the Deep Source remix, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, I haven't done an update on land in the last couple of weeks, but it does look like we have something significant here from Cryptomancer for this week's land update. So let me go ahead and dive in. I'll just try to read through this and not give my thoughts until the end, but I apologize if I get carried away. You know how it goes. All right, so this was posted, I guess, 10:49 p.m. Monday night here in the U.S. So here's this week's land update. The following has been done since my last update. Number 1, began working on what I'm calling the Land Card Abilities Project. This will be the next big thing, put in quotes, with land. Full details to come later, but for now, the high-level overview is this will initially be a set of 4 special craftable cards, one of each rarity, that are only usable on land and mage wagons. These cards will not have traditional gameplay stats or abilities, so they will not be playable in battles. Instead, they will have new land-specific abilities that will benefit your plots. Like regular cards, the abilities will change and become more impactful as you level the card up. Started the creating the database schema groundwork for land card abilities. Number 2 is started creating the database schema groundwork for the land card abilities project. Number 3, started adding database logic for calculating and applying boosts for various land abilities, the exact nature of which I will reveal at a later time. And then in other news, the True Harvest All passed QA testing and will be included in this week's release. I'm actually recording this after this week's release came out, so it is already there. An accompanying change is the claim results screen will now show the net balance changes to your regional resource balances under each resource icon as opposed to the raw harvest numbers. If more resources are consumed than harvested, the negative net balance charges will be shown in red. Cryptomancer will also be traveling to Malaysia soon and will be taking the next week off while in transit and getting settled in his destination. So there will be no land update next week. Regular weekly updates will resume from there. I don't think that there was anything else aside from... So yeah, like are the cards going to be soulbound? He says, I need to confirm that, but I don't believe so. All right, hopefully I didn't miss anything here, but that seemed to be the majority of the conversation. I mean, here's the big thing. Okay, so let me get into my thoughts on this now. We are going to finally get some interesting land-specific cards. Now, I'll tell you this, even though I really like this idea and I've been talking about it for a while, there is something that does kind of rub me the wrong way, for lack of better way of saying it. We're going to be creating 4 cards here that are craftable through land for the use on land. Now, what was the purpose of land to begin with if you go all the way back in the history of Splinterlands? It was a novel idea to create a space for old and unwanted cards to still have some kind of value to do something. And I love that because we're getting more and more cards launched every year or every couple of years with these sets, right? So as new sets come out, the older sets go into wild format, and the cards that are just no longer really competitive, we can't really do much with them. Now, we can play with them in survival mode, but understand that survival mode, even to a certain extent, like, if those cards aren't that great in battle necessarily, sure, maybe you can go and just like mass try to win in survival mode, right? Like just throwing cards at the problem. But for the most part, if they're not great cards, they're not going to be winning regardless, and you're going to be going up against other cards that when they win, they don't take any they don't have to leave or get cooldown time. So you're just going to keep on losing against these top tier cards. So this brings me back to my point here. We're starting to create cards through land, for land, and we're kind of getting away from the initial idea of what land was supposed to be. Again, just very broadly speaking of like, okay, land was supposed to be the place that all these cards that were from older sets and did not have any more utility, this is where you could throw them on there, right? And land is not even, it's like, what, 20% of the way to its full potential. So there's a lot of cards that could still be soaked up and put on land. But if we're going to start creating other cards that are not only inflationary to the cards available for land, specifically these being for land, but actually even better for land, right? I'm talking about your hardy stonefishes. Like, what are we going to do with all these hardy stonefishes? Well, technically they should go on land. But if the common card that is better for land comes out and it's just a better card overall to use for land, well, then the hardy stonefishes can't really play in battle. They can't play in survival mode, and they can't play in, in whatever this is, in land. So I just hope that the team is being cognizant of that. I'm sure that they are. I'm not trying. This is not me trying to say that this is a bad idea by any means. I think it's actually awesome. I love to see more things come out through land. So obviously, I think that this is going to be a really cool way for land to develop further. I just hope that there will be other things in the mix that can make sure we find places for these other cards that just don't have any or all of the same, that don't have any utility anymore. Now, here's where I'm gonna give you the big silver lining so that you know that I'm not actually worried about this. Survival mode came out of nowhere, right? Survival mode came out of nowhere. You know, a year ago, nobody really had this idea of like, okay, what are we gonna do? Like, is this gonna change things? And it became a brand new format that was able to soak up a bunch of extra cards. Okay, not again the low utility cards, but just a bunch of extra cards that people had. So the idea is, I think that the team will have the ability, capability, and you know the smarts, right? Like Matt's doing this, he's focused on this full time now, to be able to come up with more formats or more ways in which we can create more utility for those low utility cards, right? More places for those low utility cards to participate. And I'm not saying sell more land, I'm not saying to do whatever, but if there are other ways in which we could do that, I think the team can be creative and find ways to do them. The other way, and I think that this is going to be important in the future and should be something that we consider even though we're in a much better spot now. We've talked about card burning for a very long time. And I would actually love to see whether they put it in with something like guilds or maybe they build it into land somewhere. It would be cool to see these sacrificial altars where in order to create some of the newer cards, and maybe they even do it with these land card abilities, these new land cards, in order to do that, you have to take the rusty androids and the hardy stonefishes, and you have to sacrifice 1-to-1 BCX. And people are willing to do that because those cards are trading on the marketplace for a penny or even less, right? Or some of the Pellicor bandits, like all those cards, we find a place where we actually get rid of them. So it's not even finding ongoing utility, but you just get rid of them with some kind of card burning mechanism that makes sense and creates a nice circular game loop where people want the new stuff, and all the old stuff that we have extra of that people don't want to get rid of, well, just throw them in the fire pit. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. Either way, I'm still excited about this, and I hope we hear more of it soon. I hope that it is out by the end of the year, and maybe we'll get a little bit more information on this week's Town Hall. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.